Hey guys, let's do this review real quick. Number one says solid equations using elimination, which means we're going to be able to add these together, and one of our variables is going to go, which is the y this time. So over here on the left side, that leaves me negative 3x squared. If I add my x's, it's a 1x, and if I add the negative 5 and 2, it's a minus 3 equals 0. All right, I picked a doozy here. Didn't mean to do that. Hopefully tomorrow yours factors. This is not going to factor, so I'm going to have to do quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. That's negative 3. So I get this. I get negative 1 plus or minus. Well, the good thing is if I multiply that out, I'm getting negative 35 inside, negative 6. Now, because we're actually, when we're solving a system, we're actually looking where the two graphs intersect each other. And because I'm getting an imaginary answer here with the I would have an I because of that negative radical. There's going to be no real solutions here. Right now, I would not anticipate that on your test tomorrow, but you never know. So I'm hoping tomorrow on your test that factors, and then you can plug it in to find your other answer. Sorry about that. Or maybe it does that tomorrow. Who knows? Number 2, solve by substitution. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take what y equals. Y is 7 minus x. I'm going to plug it in to the y in the second equation right here. And don't forget how we square things. Remember that gesture we do. We go square, multiply together, double, square. You must get 3 terms out of there when you square that parentheses. All right, on the left-hand side, I have 2x squared, so a negative 14x. And if I move that 49 over, it becomes negative 49, which means that cancels. That's gone. You don't have to do this step, but I always like to, if the numbers have something in common, I'm going to reduce it by the 2, factor out the x. That leaves me 2 answers for my x. X is 0 and 7. Now, you're not done right there. That's the x, which is awesome, but your answers are going to be ordered pairs, like x is 0, x is 7. Just take that 0 and 7 and plug it back in right where you started, because it says y is 7 minus x. So what is 7 minus 0? 7. Plug 7 in now. 7 minus 7, 0. So there's your 2 solutions. It won't always be opposites like that, but that's pretty cool. Number 3, graph the inequality. This is already, you can already tell the vertex by looking. I'm going to go down 2 to right there. And there's a negative in the front, which means the problem is going down. Over 1, down 1. It's solid because there's an equal sign. And then what we did, we had to plug in a point to see where to shade. So I'm going to, because it doesn't go through 0, 0, I'm going to put 0 for y, 0 for x, and that gives me 0 is greater than negative 2. That's true. And because it's true, I'm going to shade where 0, 0 is, which is outside the parabola. So I'm shading everything outside that parabola. It's kind of a Christmassy looking graph. All right, number 4 has 2 graphs. The first one, 2x squared plus 1. I'm going to go up 1. There's a 2 in the front, so I'm going over 1, up 2, over 1, up 2. It's going to be solid because there's an equal sign with that one. It does not touch 0, 0, so I'm going to plug in 0 for the x and 0 for the y. See what I get. I get 0 is greater than 1. That is not true. And because it's not true and it's outside, that means I'm going to shade inside that parabola. Now I'm going to do the second one. Second one, I'm going to go up 2. Sorry about that. I'm going to go up 2, which is right there. That one's going down, so down 1, it's over 1, down 1. This one's broken. Make sure you draw that broken. And again, I can plug in 0, 0, but this time 0, 0 is inside the parabola. So I'm going to go 0 is less than 0 plus 2. Is 0 greater than 2? No. So I'm not going to shade inside the parabola. I'm going to shade outside that parabola. Let me pick a different color here. So I'm shading outside here. Okay, so the answer is where I shaded twice. Okay, so where I shaded twice is everything inside this parabola and outside the other. So I've got to watch that little U shape right in there, or whatever shape that is, and that dark spot right there. That's it. All right, number 5. It says solve algebraic, which means we're going to factor. Okay, so I'm going to say x minus 7, x minus 4 here to factor that 28. What I'm going to do with the 7 and the 4, my zeros, I'm putting them on a sign graph. I'm putting a 4 there and a 7 there. And then remember, I'm going to plug in a number to see where my positive and negative signs go. And the number we used yesterday the whole time was 100, so I'm going to plug in 100. So if I plug in 100, that becomes like, 93, that becomes 96. And I don't care what 93 times 96 is, but it's positive. And because 100 is past 7, that's going to be positive. The signs alternate. And then here's the key. What am I looking for? I'm looking for greater than 0. Greater than 0 are positive numbers. I see two positives on my number line. One of them is less than 4, so I'm going to do that. The other one is greater than 7, and there you have it. That's algebraically. All right, number 6 says solve this by graphing. What I'm going to do first is move this. I'm going to act like it says equals. All right, so I'm going to go equals. Now, I'm going to act like it says equals -2. Now, usually I would try to factor this, or maybe it's not going to factor it because no factors of 2 are going to give me 4. And the reason I left that 2 on that side is because I noticed that 4 was even, which means I'm going to complete the square. You could move the 2 over and do x equals negative, but you could do all that stuff too. But you need the zeros. You need to find out where the x-intercepts are. So I'm going to solve it by complete the square. So half of -4 is -2. Square it. That's plus 4. That's plus 4. So over here I get 2. Over here I have x minus 2 squared. Remember, the half always goes in there. Take the square root of both sides. I get x minus 2 is plus or minus the square root of 2. And my final answer is going to be this. Now, that's not an answer. Those are my two x-intercepts. Okay, so I've got to figure out what kind of decimal 2 plus the square root of 2 is, and also what 2 minus the square root is. So I'm going to punch in my calculator right now. 2 plus the square root of 2. And it's telling me it's 3.41. That's one of my zeros. That's not exactly, but it's rounded. And 2 minus the square root of 2, which is, I messed that up. Let me try that one more time. 2 minus the square root of 2 is 0.58 or 59. So one answer is 3.41. I'm going to blow this up a little bit, as much as I can. Okay, one answer is 3.41, which is up almost 3.5 right there. The other answer is 0.59, which is a little more than a half right there. Now, to be honest, I don't care what the vertex is. But here's what I know. I know what opens up. So I know the parabola is doing something like this. That's what I know. It's doing something like that. And that's where it crosses. Now, where it does not cross is 0, 0. So I'm going to plug that in. I'm going to put a 0 for my x's right here. And I'm going to read what it says. Is 0 bigger than -2? It is, which means I'm going to shade outside. And all I care about is really the x-axis. Look where I'm shading. I'm shading left and right of the parabola. So my solutions will be everything to the left of 0.59 and also everything to the right of 3.41. All right, there you have it. All right, let's keep going here. 7 and 8 are old school stuff. Just describe what's happening. You're so good at this. First thing I'm going to do is shifts left 4 because of the print, the absolute value, the opposite of what's inside. Also shift down 2 because of the outside. Number 8's got two things. First of all, it's got a reflection, reflects across the x-axis because the negative's in the front. And because the 3's in the front also, it is a vertical stretch by 3. Okay, so we've done that a lot. You're really good at that. Number 9, domain range, and is it a function or not? Yes or no. Domain is how far left and right it goes. Here's the most far left point. Remember, domain is the x-coordinate. 1, 2, 3. Domain is going to be -4, and because of the arrow, it goes forever. Now, again, because of the arrows, it is going down forever and up forever. Is it a function? Does it pass the vertical line test? Well, it's close, but if I draw a vertical line right through there, that's close to vertical. It's not. It hits it twice, so I'm going to go no. All right, number 10, it's been a while, and there's one key word in the directions. It says, the data below shows a linear relationship. Use your calculator to find the equation line of best fit and the correlation coefficient. Okay, on your calculator, we've talked about this before. To find your correlation coefficient, which is R, you need to have your diagnostic on. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm going to catalog. If I can see that. Second catalog. Hitting alpha D twice to go to the D's. I'm turning my diagnostic on. I'm looking for diagnostic on. Found it. It's on. Now, go to stat, edit, L1. I'm typing in the first line, 3, 6, 10, 13, 17. Go to L2. Type in the bottom numbers, 100. I'm actually doing this as I'm talking, if you can't tell. That's why it's taking a minute. 400, 507. And once you have those in, you can go back to stat, calc. We want len for linear, all right? Len make sure your list says L1, L2. Go to calculate, hit enter. It tells you exactly what to write here. The equation is telling me to write is 29.07x plus 16.47. Okay, that's exactly what it told me to say. And my correlation coefficient is R. R on here is like 0.9996. That's a really strong R, remember, so that looks really good. All right, guys, that's it. Hope it helps. Hope you do great tomorrow. Come see me if you need me.